Cheers everyone, welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be covering a post in the Law of Attraction subreddit, and this post really resonated with me. It's talking a lot about concepts that I've been sharing lately here on the channel. So we're going to go over it and then talk about it here. We're going to read it and then we will discuss. All right, so hello. I was originally going to post about SP and money, but I feel like this is a more important topic. The 3D is one of the main reasons people feel like they are persisting and it's not unfolding. Let me help. Think of the law of gravity or Newton's law in physics. By the way, this post is called Your 3D Circumstances Aren't Special. And we'll see what they mean here in a second. So these scientific laws that no matter how much we try to go against them, we will always be proven wrong. I've talked about this many times before. The people that get really lost in the sauce with all this manifesting stuff think they can go against the universal laws, right? That's just not going to happen. The law of gravity is one great example. Manifesting that the sun is not going to turn up in the morning. It's just not happening. So we need to work with the universal laws that are givens in order to allow them to help us with our goals, not fight against them. So you do not wake up outside one day and begin to float. Why? The law of gravity. You can try everything in the book, but the law of gravity is the law of gravity. You will remain on the ground. There's no secret way around it. There's no magic pill you can swallow. It's just a given. Man didn't wake up just one day, create gravity like how someone created the governmental laws. No, it just is what it is, and we know this. We never think this and doubt it's working because it just is. It's doing its job. The law of attraction, in this case, the law of assumption, is no different. It's always working. We don't need to literally see the mechanics behind the law to know that it is. You might say, well, everything is on the ground, so that's proof it's working. And I will say to you, well, your 3D is looking like shit, so that's the proof the law of attraction or assumption is working. It's working, whether you feel it, see it, know it, hope for it, dream of it, beg for it, don't care for it, hate it. It's working. It's the law, it just is. We don't get to control whether or not gravity is on or off today. We don't get to control the laws of physics. And we don't get to control if we jump off the 30th floor building, whether we're going to live or die. These laws just are. Okay. They're going into, right? So it doesn't work on a Monday or a Tuesday or when you're shaving or when you love your life or when you hate your life. You get the idea. It's not going anywhere, so stop asking if it's working. It's never not working, and it's always working, and it's working perfectly. For now, let's talk about the 3D. You are your 3D, so stop acting like it's some foreign land. If you're scared of your circumstances, if you are afraid of what's going on inside you, it will continue that state. If you're anxious, worried, scared, hopeless, doubting, needy, and constantly up and down while manifesting, that's what we talk about so much. It's like the up and down. I use this visual model a lot. Fearful, anxious, fearful and avoidant, attached and anxious, very attached. Step back for a day or two, figure out what's going on within and address it. That's why it's very important to get a hold of your nervous system, get a hold of what's going on inside you. Develop that awareness to see what is going on in my internal dialogue. Begin to shift the internal narrative. You can manifest while feeling those feelings, but it's going to feel like a bumpy ride. Yes, you can manifest through shitty feelings, but it's better to be still and knowing than running around like a chicken with its head cut off. And you can also, by engaging in a mirror practice, mirror technique, mirror work, begin to see your self, your true self. The body is an expression of the subconscious mind. If you are running around like a chicken with its head cut off, very fidgety, always in this state of anxiety, flummoxed about by your 3D circumstances, like he said, that's not preferable, and you're not going to get what you want nearly as easily as somebody that is calm, centered, in control of themselves. The easiest way to see this is in the mating ritual, the mating dance. All animals have this, and we as humans are no different. People that see somebody that's nervous, fidgety, blah, 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 especially the thing is like men and women are different, regardless of what anybody tells you. Science, if you look and study the animal kingdom, if you look and observe human beings, men especially, if men are all jittery and, moving their head around and fidgety and they can't hold proper eye contact, that is like the most repellent thing in dating, in that whole process, in the whole mating process. Because everybody, but especially women, are put off by that. Men are meant to be grounded, meant to be strong, meant to be in control of themselves. Not to say that that's a desirable quality either way, but especially as men, if you do that, if you are running around with your chicken cut off, with like a chicken with its head cut off, while you are seeking a mate, you are not going to find very many mates. Just a side tangent point. So, how do you become still and knowing? By talking to yourself. Turn off everything if you need to. Silence the room. Listen to binaural beats while you just think. Write a note to yourself asking how you can help yourself. Stop looking outside. It will never validate you. And that's what we've been talking about lately here. You need to give yourself your own validation, your own approvals. Stop seeking from approval and validation outside of yourself. When you are looking and you are not validated, you will continue to look and be that head on a swivel that is repellent to all things that you want because you are constantly seeking. I can call myself a success every single day for the next 100 days, but if I look to Kathy, this is a perfect example here. If I look to Kathy to tell me who I am, and she tells me I'm a flop, or she tells me I'm unattractive, she calls me creepy, and I take her word for it, those past 100 days weren't shit. I was never a success then. You validate you. You tell yourself who you are every single day until you stop breathing. You are your own greatest weapon. As soon as you turn to self, you will never need the 3D to validate you again. The biggest struggle you all have is giving too much importance to the 3D. The 3D is a reflection of you. Its job is to show you where you are in the manifesting process. You should be using it as a guide, not crying over it. Use it as your For You page. Like on social media, your For You page shows you things that are related to what you have been clicking, subscribing, following. When you change the things you're subscribing to, you change your For You page. And I've heard other people use this example, and it is true. The algorithm on social media platforms is showing you more of what you're focusing on, what you're clicking, subscribe, follow. That's the same thing that's going on in reality, except that instead of clicking with our touchpad or on our phone, we are clicking by deciding, by choosing this to focus on. You should be able to look at your 3D circumstances dead in the eye and still know that you're getting what you want. Yes, there will be bad days when you doubt. Every human doubts. It's the power you give the doubt or the story you allow that doubt to tell you that will determine if you are where you should be or if you need to reevaluate. Stop being afraid to let go and fix what needs to be fixed. If you're struggling still with the 3D after so much time, you seriously need to go study how manifesting works. Relearn it. Grab a book and start from page 1. Don't skip the page that tells you how to get your SP money. You'll end up right back where you are. I don't know what book they're recommending here, but anyways. And for the love of God, stop acting like your circumstances are some ancient hex problem that can't be resolved just because the SP moved away or is on planet Mars with the third party. Stop putting the SP above you. Stop thinking the SP is outside of you. You are the SP, you are the money, you are the 3D. If it's hard for you to believe, grab a book on manifesting. Oh, okay. They say in their next post, they're almost done writing it. You will see exactly why things aren't showing up. So they've got a book coming out too. Very cool. Okay. Happy manifesting and happy holidays. Yeah. And, this goes right along with what we've been talking about lately. Like I said, I mean, it's just getting out of that state where you're emotionally dependent upon, like a lot of the times it's a person, right? If it's the SP thing, it's going to be a person. Even when it comes to a job, even when it comes to a lot of the times it's like, even if you're looking for like somebody to build your house or something, you're emotionally dependent on that person saying yes. You're emotionally dependent on that person like validating you, being like, yeah, let's do this, or wanting to work together, wanting to go on a date, wanting to go out, whatever the hell. It's about stepping back and giving yourself, being able to look at that pattern. You're simply engaged in a pattern. You're playing out an archetype. Shakespeare said that all the world's a stage and we are just players on the stage. And I found that to be true in life. We continually repeat and replay by shifting in and out of these states, as Neville Goddard calls them, as Carl Jung would call them, archetypes. We can play the fool, we can play the victim, we can play the jester or the joker, we can play the magician. We can choose to play these more empowering roles as well. We can choose the lover role, the Lothario role, the Adonis role, whatever resonates for you that puts you in alignment, dwelling on that archetypical energy. And like this post says, your 3D circumstances aren't special. You're simply slipping into these storylines like a play or like a movie. Vadim Zeland says the same thing in Tufty the Priestess, that we are simply shifting to a different script, a different narrative. And that is by engaging our, what he calls outer intention, by waking up in the film role, which is becoming aware of the parts that we are playing, becoming aware of the thoughts that we're entertaining, deciding to dismiss the thoughts that we don't want, deciding to embody that different version of ourselves, deciding to, by doing mirror work, this is one great way of doing it, declaring who it is that we are becoming. We're gonna embody that. If we feel like it, we can embody more of that Joker energy, more of that energy that's more carefree, that doesn't take things so seriously. That can be very beneficial for us sometimes. We can also choose to embody the lover archetype, somebody that is sensual, somebody that is able to express themselves in that manner, that's going to be much more receptive to the person that we're engaged with if we are looking at them in that capacity as a lover. We can choose the king archetype. There's all these different archetypes that are there. You can look at tarot cards to see these archetypes, or to see how, and when you look at stories, when you listen to stories, when you watch movies, you see how these different people are playing in and out of these roles as well. It's always happening. It's always going on. So again, yeah, like this person said, your 3D circumstances are not special. It's about you declaring the frame of your reality, you giving yourself that permission to be that version of yourself. A lot of the times it can help because our family members, our friends that have known us from a long time want to put us into a box. It's up to us to decide we're not allowing them to put us into these boxes. We're the ones deciding who we want to be. A lot of the times it can help to get away from some of those influences that want to see you as that past version of yourself. Parents want to see their kids as children, perpetual children. They don't, no need to blame the parents. I think that's part of the deal of being a parent and watching your child grow up. But sometimes we need to get away from these external influences as well so that we can chart our own path. Disagree. There's a lot of things that over the years I've come to learn that I don't see eye to eye with my dad. And that's okay. It's okay. We don't need to see everything eye to eye. And, along the path, I've found other people that resonate with me in these different areas that we don't see eye to eye with. And that's okay too. And that's actually good. That's what we should all be doing, is to look to find other people that are more like-minded with us, that we can resonate on these things with, that we may not be able to with family, with old friends. A lot of the times you outgrow these types of dynamics with people. And it's important to put yourself out there so that you can find better dynamics for yourself where you feel empowered to be this version of yourself that you've decided to be, rather than almost shamed or shunned for it or just judged for it. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. It matters what you decide about yourself. Your parents can disapprove of you all day long. Your parents can disagree with you all day long. Ultimately, you're the one that decides your fate, not your parents, not anybody else, not Kathy, not your teachers, not whoever it might be. Anyways, guys, love this post here. I love how they articulated some of the concepts we've been talking about, because it's very on point. These situations, these stories that we get caught up in, they're much more common than you'd believe. There was one video that was like a live chat in Dylan James's group that I listened to, where this woman talked about her dynamic with this guy, and it was like all the women in the comments were like, "Oh my gosh, like you're just like me, like I have the exact same dynamic playing out." And we see these dynamics play out time and time again. So they are characters in a script. You are a character in a movie, and it's time for you to get back in the director's chair. It's time for you to get back in the writer's seat and start directing as well as starring in the movie. Much love as always. Drop this with a like, hit me with a comment down below, hit the subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.